Hi, I'm Dorothy Guerra, your host of Get Loud About Your Life. In today's episode, I want to talk to you about sciatica pain. For those of you that had sciatica or have dealt with sciatica, you know how troubling and immobilizing it could be. Now, the whole idea about getting loud about your life is that you need to feel good and you need to feel like you should be able to move and to enjoy yourself. But when you have any kind of physical ailments running through your body, it's very difficult to enjoy everyday things that happen in your life. I want to take a moment to explain to you what sciatica is so that you have an understanding of what occurs in the body when you suffer from such pain. And also I'm going to show you some simple techniques that are going to help you relieve and work with sciatica. So sciatica is the single largest running nerve through the human body, and its purpose is to connect the lower legs to the spinal column, to the brain, so that when we move our leg, it is the sciatic nerve that is making that possible in sending the signals to the mind. Now, the sciatic nerve starts in the lower part of your spine. So we call this the lumbar region of the spine, or your lower back. And the nerve tissues run down the vertebrae, and they start to form roots here, just at this lower portion of your spine. These nerves start to come out through exit points of the vertebrae called foramina. And then here is where it gets tricky. It starts to collect the sciatic nerve into one big root, and it comes down into our pelvis, and it tucks right under here into the great sciatic foramen. Okay? Now, when this nerve has an issue between here and here, as you can see, this is where we start to feel the pain. We either call this a sciatic nerve pinch, and here's the other catch, or a piriformis issue. Now, this is what people don't realize, that sciatica can stem from two problems. That nerve can be pinched by either a herniated disc, which means these little soft cushions that keep our spine, our vertebrae from rubbing against each other, are either squeezing tight or bulging, okay, which causes the nerve to get pinched, or it can be caused by the spinal column narrowing and the nerve being pinched. If this is the case of your sciatica, that means that your sciatica issue is skeletal, all right? And this is very important when I start showing you exercises to deal with this. If, however, the sciatic nerve is experiencing a pinch through here, I'm going to show you this way. The sciatic nerve attaches back through here, and it is responsible for moving our leg. Now, there is a muscle here called the piriformis. That muscle attaches the hip to the leg bone, and it covers the sciatic nerve. If that muscle is inflamed, then what's happening is it's pressing against the sciatic nerve, and it's causing the sciatic nerve pain all the way down the leg. Okay? And the reason I tell you that there's two issues for sciatic nerve is because you're going to constantly chase the symptoms by doing exercises that you should not be doing instead of targeting the root of the problem. So you need to understand where the nerve is happening in the pinch. Is it the spine or is it in the muscle tissue? Okay, and there's some simple ways to check that. For example, just stepping onto your toes or onto the heels of your feet. If by putting weight onto your toes or the heels of your feet cause sharp shooting pains down your leg, chances are that that sciatica pain is coming from the piriformis muscle in your lower back and your butt. Okay, that's in your butt area. If it's coming from movement of the spine, then the chances are that you have a more serious problem, which is a disc issue. Okay? The techniques that I'm going to show you with yoga are going to target the piriformis muscle and help to make sure that you're stretched properly. And then the other exercises that I'm going to show you will to target spinal health and making sure that you keep your spine in optimal position so that you're constantly creating space in your vertebrae. So the first simple exercise that I want to show you is to deal with your spinal health. All right, so the one thing that you want to do if you find that you have a lot of lower back joint pain is to do exercises on a daily basis that allow you to get long. And we want to sort of manipulate our vertebrae as best as we can, so that if we do have herniated discs or bulging discs, we're creating that space in the vertebrae to hopefully allow things to correct themselves. Now, working with herniated discs and bulging discs is not something that yoga can correct. So I do want to point out that you might need to consult with your health practitioner for that. But for spinal health and prevention, what you want to think about is lengthening your spine all the way down from your heels to the top of your head. The easiest way to do this and check with your spinal health is to just simply put your shoulders and your heels against a wall, and then just allow your belly button to tuck in against that wall. And just right away you'll there get a sense of what your core strength is, and then you'll start to feel that lengthening pull all the way up through your spine. Another thing I suggest in order to create a little bit of a stretch here through the sciatic nerve is by taking your arms out against that wall and just feeling your entire body settle in, but don't forget that length that you're creating up this way. Feeling yourself get long and tall. And then all you're going to do is a simple movement with your head and just simply turning your head all the way out to your fingers. That gentle movement itself is going to create a stretch all the way down through your side body and create that space that your sciatic nerve needs there. Very simple exercise. One more standing posture for you is taking a forward bend. Now, when it comes to forward bends, most of us who don't have spinal health will go right into our forward bend like this and curling our spine forward. That is just going to put more pressure in the vertebrae and not target the area of the spinal column that we're actually trying to target. So to deal with space in the vertebrae for sciatica issues, all we're going to do is simply keep our feet grounded into the mat, come back to thinking about that length. Place your hands just here at the top of your legs, where that leg socket comes into the hip. And you're just going to lift your chest up and a gentle forward bend. You don't need to come all the way down. Obviously, if you're suffering from major sciatica pain, you're going to be able to work with that at your own pace. If you start to feel that pull from the sciatic nerve up through your heel and into your back, that is okay, because you want to be able to work with that stretch. Where it becomes a problem is when you move too fast and you don't think about the alignment and the position that we're doing in order to free that nerve. So from sitting in a chair position, this is where we're going to start tackling the piriformis muscle. So a lot of people tend to get sciatica from working at a desk job where they're constantly sitting in a chair and putting that pressure on their piriformis. Another known fact is that men tend to get sciatica because okay, ready? Another known fact is that men tend to get sciatica because they have a tendency to carry their wallets in their back pockets. And by placing their wallet in their back pocket, it tends to put pressure on the piriformis, which then pinches the sciatic nerve. So a tip, there are some simple chair positions that you can do on a daily basis if you do work in an office, or if you find it very difficult to get on the floor to do some of the floor postures I'm going to show you. We want to target that piriformis muscle back here, and in order to get a nice big stretch here so that we can release that sciatic nerve. Very simple exercise. Now I want you to be mindful of your spine again. So when you do this exercise, you want to make sure that we're not doing that whole rounding of the spine. We want to keep our spine nice and erect, and all we're going to do is just simply take our knee and place it, lift it up and place our heel up on top of our opposite thigh. Depending how severe the sciatica pressure is for you, you're either going to feel enough here, and like I said, if you are feeling the pressure or the pinching, that is okay. Just don't go too further into it if you don't need to. And all we're going to do is keeping our chest up. We're just going to simply lean into that. Okay, very simple exercise. And if this is where you want to start, just holding your body here without doing that lean forward, you're going to know right away what your body needs. But this is a really important stretch to making sure we start to release that piriformis muscle. Okay, and when we do that, we have to make sure that we balance both sides because the sciatic nerve runs equally between the left side and the right side. So with that circular motion here between the nerves, you have to make sure that you're balancing your body. Okay, and doing the other side, which is another tip I want to point out when you do exercise for injury prevention. Sometimes we focus too much on the one side that we're feeling the pain at, and then we don't go and balance the other side, and that can be a detriment to your whole recovery and rehabilitation. So always want to make sure you're balancing both sides. Okay, and just working that simple stretch. Simple chair pose there. So one more set of exercises for you to deal with sciatica. Sitting down, for those of you that can come down onto the mat, this is a really great way to get really into that piriformis muscle and feel your lower back. So again, I want to point out forward bending. So you might go on the internet and see, oh, they're forward bending to deal with sciatica nerve pain. However, how you forward bend is the key to making sure that you are actually going to get to the root of the problem. So when we forward bend, we want to think about lifting our chest upward, just like we did when we were standing, and lifting and extending. And as soon as you start to feel your lower back getting that stretch, you're guaranteed to be getting right there into that piriformis. You don't need to go very far, all right? For sciatic nerve release, all you need to do is a simple forward bend and just making sure that we're looking upward and lifting our chest. For those of you that don't have the mobility to go forward, another good idea here is just to sit tall, fingers behind your back, push into those fingers and look up. Okay, so getting that spine to get nice and long is going to release some of that pressure. All right, so the other exercise here is a sitting pigeon. Very similar to what we did on the chair. All right, we're just going to bend the knees. And again, you might be feeling some of that pressure in the sciatic nerve, which is totally fine. We've got to sort of work through it in order to release it. So we're just going to take that foot here, cross over, place our hands back, and we're going to lean and lift. Lean and lift. Very simple. Don't forget to do both sides. Okay? And it's not just one stretch. You have to make sure that you're going in and doing those stretches 3 or 4 times. Okay? And then here we go. Lean and length. Very simple. Last one here. We're going to come right down onto our backs. Very similar exercise, but this time I want you to be aware that you can use a prop, and here I've just taken a regular dishcloth because we want to think about, even though we're on our back, we want to think about that spine length. So we want to still manage to get our head long and our spine long, stretch those heels out so that you feel the length. And then it's a matter of just bringing that knee in. You can use your dishcloth and then just slowly working that leg out. Now the piriformis muscle is responsible for hip rotation. So by allowing your body to move in a slow hip rotation, you can start releasing that muscle. Very simple. And again, you're going to know how far you can take it. All right? Balancing both sides. Working that slow hip rotation, so we're working with that muscle. And then one more, just taking your foot across, if you choose to do this lying down, is that same pigeon pose that we did. Okay, and just holding it here. Be mindful that we don't move too quick. We're keeping our spine nice and stable. Working the other side. So there you go. I hope those simple exercises will give you a better understanding of how to work with sciatic pain. Now, if sciatic nerve pain is running down your back and into your leg and down your heel for more than 6 weeks, I strongly suggest that you go and see your physician for some help, just in case there might be a spinal issue that you're not addressing properly. In order to live your life loud, you've got to pay attention to your body and you've got to pay attention to your physical health. Be sure to take care of yourself. Practice with ease, practice with care, and get loud about your life.